Meeting to order the Acushnet Board of Health on Tuesday, November 27th, 2018. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
Motion.
Meeting. I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye. We are now open. This meeting is being audio and videotaped. First item, correspondence, letter from Community Nurse and Home Care Statistics, October 2018.
I make a motion to place on file, Dave.
Second motion. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. We're going to skip down to discussion, page 2. First bullet item, we need to amend section 6 of the tobacco control regulations by removing reserved and adding the minimum legal age for the sale of tobacco to 21, which is what the state is doing. We discussed this at our last meeting, and I think we have no choice, so we're going to be grandfathering a bunch of kids in for several years.
What is, when does this go into effect?
This will go in, if it's voted tonight, it'll go into effect after we advertise it, which would be
Friday.
which will be Friday. So it would be next week.
This way here, the people don't know that this will be in effect as of Saturday, right?
Yep, so going into this year coming up,
Okay.
our renewal of the tobacco permit, that'll be part of it. So
Okay, as
everybody-
long as they know, the community on camera, that this is gonna be. That way
So-
nobody can call up and say, hey, you know, they didn't tell me this.
Right, so
it's on
the
camera.
state's changing it effective December
They're-
31st.
Correct.
But it will now become effective
Ours will become, ours will
30
become
days prior
effective.
to. or whatever.
Yes,
Okay.
technically 30 days
So as we
prior to.
run it legal, okay.
And
So you'll notify all the establishments.
Yep, and actually, also, soon as, once this is all good to go,
Do you know how many establishments we have to notify?
is 8?
8.
I'm gonna give them this.
Do bars still have cigarettes? No.
So what I'm gonna,
Vending machine,
It's
right?
gas stations and
Convenience stores.
Convenience stores, gas
Liquor
stations,
stores.
liquor.
oh yeah, well, yeah, liquor stores.
so this is a poster that's through the Department of Public Health.
Yep.
That basically I'm gonna hand out to all of our vendors, notifying them, but also letting them put this up. Yep.
You have one for everyone?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll be you up to date.
Okay.
So that's really the only change in our regulations, correct?
Yeah, that's the only, yeah, I would say if you could maybe just, it would be good to read that whole section, just so that there's no question about what it says. And it's really saying that we're gonna change it to 21.
I mean, we're talking, we know what we're talking about, but they
Correct,
don't.
I'll read it out for the public. Basically, in our tobacco regulations as a Board of Health, there's one section we will be changing, revising, and that states, Section 6, tobacco sales to persons under the minimum legal sales age prohibited. No person shall sell, provide, or permit the sale or distribution of tobacco products as defined in general laws, Chapter 270, Section 6, as may be amended to a person under the minimum legal sales age, effective December 30th. Now, this is not correct then, the state.
This is,
The minimum legal sales age in Acushnet for all persons including those persons who attain the age of 18 before December 31st, 2008, shall be 21. I'm glad I read it.
Yeah,
But if we
yeah,
can
so-
make it much more stringent than the state and go ahead and have it in place.
So
already.
what happens is, once it is advertised, the regulations come into effect,
Yeah.
okay? Regardless of what is here, you know, but the intent of what is here is to coincide with the state.
Okay.
Because the state is December 30th, the law changes to 21 and no longer 18. So, yes, we'll advertise it from our standpoint, from our regulations, what we are required to do. I'm misspeaking a little bit. We are required to advertise it. This will become effective once we publish it in the newspaper, but it won't be enforceable until December 30th. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Which is what the intent is anyway.
Well, they can get used to showing their ID too.
Correct.
Right,
You
exactly.
know, the stores can say, well, you're 18, it's not going into effect until December 30th, but we want to make sure that you get in the practice of showing your ID.
Yep.
That way we can make sure that you're going to be 21.
Yep, and from our standpoint, again, we don't have a problem 21 prior to that. This is meant and specifically meant to protect our retailers from when our tobacco enforcement or tobacco control goes in there
And they do the stings.
and to do the sting. So, I mean, this is why we're fixing it, this is why we're doing it, but it's kind of two different things that we're dealing with.
So really, for clarity, we're voting to change the legal age to 21, but it really won't become effective until December 30th, which
Yes.
is in concert with the state. Okay. But we will provide those as soon as we run the legal ad to
Right.
all the established, so they can start.
So you're going to do
It's their-
that this Friday?
It's their prerogative whether they want to sell up until the
Yeah.
30th.
It is, yes.
Okay. I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
it. So is there a motion?
Motion to accept the amendment of section 6.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next, did you?
So, I have an original over there to sign later.
Okay, we'll sign all our documents later. Second, board item to amend the current animal regulations by eliminating permit and fee requirements. There's a little more to that, but there's just clarification, definitions and whatnot.
Yeah, so,
We went over this at our last hearing too.
so what's been done, as we've talked about, is we've eliminated the permits from the regulation that we currently have. Removed the fees associated with this. The original or the current regulations that we have were made in 2008. Obviously, there's been some discussion and talk over time. Here, you know, basically 10 years later, and there's some changes that the community was interested in and talking to the Board of Health about. And this reflects the different concerns and questions and fees associated with our current animal regulations, which again has removed any fees, removed any permit requirements, but the main body of our regulations is still here. The intent of the booklet is to make a bunch of these and give them to our animal control officer, who does barn inspections and essentially goes to every property that has animals. She's required to by the state to do that. Hand these out to everybody so that they're aware of the fact that the Board of Health does have animal regulations. Yeah.
Nice little booklet.
Which is similar to the regulations that we always had. So they are subject to the regulations. They are subject to enforcement in the event that they don't follow. Whoever has animals doesn't follow this, both through the animal control officer and through the Board of Health, which has always been the case. This just really eliminates the fees, and these regulations just added a little bit more clarity to our previous regulations.
Okay.
So it's just a shorter version, more straightforward. The offsets to the property lines, the fencing, the corralling, the barns, offsets to water
You
courses.
got a good memory, I read all that.
Yep, it's all this, I spent quite a bit of time.
That's a good little booklet.
I try to make it simple and easy for
Is
Becky.
this the only one you made so far?
Well, I have a few more, but I have the original
Do
there.
you
Once
want
we-
us to sign these? That way this can go into effect?
The original one tonight, yeah, if you vote to approve
It's
it.
in here, right?
Yeah, you just sign that one. These are just.
It's a good little pamphlet. I mean, if they wanna see this is what they'll be looking for. Okay. There's another one for
Is
there.
there a motion to approve the amendment?
Yes, motion to approve the amendment for the animal regulations.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have to amend our current fee schedule, specifically 4 items. Tobacco vendor permit is now $75 instead of $20. D-box replacement, $50, we had no fee before.
Right.
Well permit irrigation, we didn't have one before, now we have one at 75 in our fee schedule, and for body art, tattoo artist, apprentice, $50 annual fee. So 4 changes or new fees to this fee schedule. Is there a motion to approve?
When are these, when is this gonna go into an effect?
So,
Will permit irrigation?
so there's one, it would, again, it's similar. It doesn't go into effect until it's advertised. So this will be advertised on Friday. And then at that particular point in time, it'll be effective.
Cause I'm on the verge of putting a well in for irrigation in my house. So I have to pay that $75 fee then, right?
Well, you know, honestly, anybody
You have
that's
2
put,
days to apply.
anybody that's put in irrigation wells to date, I've charged $75, you know, so.
Thanks.
Because I like to get the water test from it, just to make sure that, you know, we kinda get an idea of what's going on all around. So realistically, you probably wouldn't have got out of it.
Gee, thanks.
There is one other part that I want to mention too, it's not here, to the fee schedule, is that the animal fees have been removed.
Oh, good.
So, I mean, that was,
That was part of the regulation.
right, so the fee, the
Now,
$50 fee.
which paper here is the one?
All right, let me give you the tobacco first. That one we just voted.
So it was approved tonight.
Becomes effective tonight?
Not effective. Approved tonight, it'll be effective after it's advertised.
Okay, so we'll just leave that blank then?
Yeah.
I'll just put it in the date.
Today's date for the approval of it.
Well, if you want to pass that back, I want to just put the date on it. That's the animal regulations, which won't go in effect until advertised.
Monday,
It
Saturday?
would be technically Saturday, yeah.
And what's the fee on that? Any idea? Is this with the Standard Times, or?
Yeah, I think all 3 of these, we've, it's about $100 we've been able to get it.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the fee schedule changes?
Yep.
Okay, I'll second the motion, all in
Hey,
favor?
women, except for the will. No, I'm only kidding. No, we can, yes.
So there's a motion to approve the fee schedule changes, I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. Next bullet item, noise regulation, why don't we table that till we have a full board? Is there a motion?
Motion to table to next meeting.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have pumping records, are there any issues?
Nope.
Is there a motion to keep on?
Second. Motion to keep on file. I mean, motion to keep on for the next meeting.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we have cash sales. Any issues that we should know about?
Nope, you keeping up with that? And Has been any problems lately?
Nothing? A motion to place on file.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye. You can take that off the agenda for now, I guess.
The cash.
Yeah.
396 Middle Road, this is the person who was ignoring.
Yeah, so.
Title V upgrade.
Just a quick update on that. That went over to the, last time we talked about it was going to the attorney, to the town council. It went over to the town council. They reached out, and sent a letter to him too. And, you know, we didn't get any response, and we were just, so we were moving forward to file a complaint, and the owner came in today.
Really?
So we had a discussion about moving forward, and, you know, since he's the new owner, there's some discussion about maybe redoing the septic system over there because of some other things that he wants to do. At this point, I talked to town council, told them to just sit back for 1 minute. We're gonna pursue this now that he's come and talked to me, and see if we can get him to move.
I'd rather keep it with this, it saves the town a lot of money too, hiring attorneys and all.
Right,
I can
but I
iron
think
it out,
we
and
need
this
to,
office will sign it out.
I think we need to put a timeline on this guy.
Yeah.
Like, if he intends to update, I remember that plan, it was for something different, a daycare or something?
Well, it was actually,
Some huge,
it was designed twice. So it was once as a daycare, and it was really large,
Right.
and then it came back and it was updated for a church.
okay,
Actually, because that was the lower flow
okay.
for the excess building, so it's about 550 gallons a day. Previously, it was 1,200 gallons a day.
And what's he got going on?
Now, at the moment, he's just living there, but he's thinking about maybe converting it into apartments. Some of the area in the back, which, you know, in discussion with him, he was thinking somewhere around 880 gallons is where he was gonna be at. So, he's contacted the engineer that designed it already, according to him, and they're working on that. He went over and talked to Jim Merritt today about what he could or couldn't do, what he needed to do.
Yeah, but what is his intent of doing?
So-
Apartments, is he gonna have a
Yes,
church?
apartment. Well, it was designed as a
As a
church.
daycare
Like a
first,
daycare, then
and then
redesigned
right,
as a
that's,
church, and now he's gonna do something else. It was all for previous owners, it had nothing to do with this particular gentleman that bought the property.
Okay.
So, now that he's here, so town council is just, they're ready to file a complaint, all right? What my intent at this moment is having a conversation with him. He intends on moving forward. He's used Joe Fernandez as the installer that he says he's gonna do, but he's concerned, he just wants to figure out what he's gonna do. In his mind, 550 is too small, he thinks it's gotta be bigger, so he wants to go ahead and redesign it. I said, it's gonna be really important that you stay in touch with me consistently from this point forward. I said, other than that, we're gonna move forward with the complaint, so.
Okay.
but he doesn't have a definite thing what he's gonna do.
Well,
This is what's puzzling me,
I'm
you
gonna
know?
put the fire underneath him I'll make a motion that he has 30 days
30 days.
to install the system that's been approved, or submit a new plan reflective of some kind of change that depicts something that's
Cause there's been too
allowable.
many changes in that
But
property.
he's gotta submit something that's allowable by zoning.
Yeah.
He can't just put multifamily there.
Right.
It's residential zoning, we don't allow that in town.
Right, so he,
It
you
could be in
know,
law pilot or something, but he can't just put in multi-phase. I know it's big enough to do that, but
he, yeah, so he
Wouldn't
under
he have-
some.
wouldn't
You'd have to
have
get creative.
He would
You'd
have to
get
go
creative.
in front of the other board
by the
and
Board
ask
of
for, the
Appeals.
Board of Appeals to ask
Or
for.
do a 40B where 25% of the
Yeah.
units are affordable. He's got, there's some
He's gotta do
avenues,
some
we gotta
homework
get,
there.
yeah, he's gotta get creative. So 30 days, you gotta get us a plan, we'll put it in.
Yeah, okay.
Can I make a motion to give him 30 days to get back to Joe?
All right, I'll second the motion. And that's basically as we just discussed.
Yeah.
You get the summary. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries.
Are you gonna contact this guy? You gonna send him a letter, or what are you gonna do, Joe?
Yeah, all of the above.
Okay.
You know, again, at this point, I think that, you know, having the conversation, he's definitely here, he's definitely in front of us, and he definitely wants to work towards it, but if he doesn't, we're already ready.
Yep.
Alright, so approval of minutes, we don't have any. We'll go right back to the top.
Does this man here want something with us?
He's on the list. We get
I'm
him
on
on
the
the
agenda for one of the septic systems.
but we don't have any appointments, but we're just going through the plans. So we got septic plans. We've all looked at these. We got 32 Bernard Street. One variance requested, groundwater reduction 4 to 3 feet.
Motion to accept the 4 feet to 3 feet.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Plan's been reviewed, so
yep.
motion to accept the plan is read.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. 26 Cox Street, septic repair, 2 variances, groundwater reduction from 4 feet to 3 feet, and to allow reduction of the required separation between the inlet and outlet tees and seasonal high groundwater. Is there a motion to approve the variances?
Motion to accept the 2 variances.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Motion to accept plan as read.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're gonna go to number 4, map 21, lot 14C, Main Street. New construction,
Everything seemed to be all right on that.
yeah,
That was the,
remind me, this Main Street.
this is, the skinny little lot, and it goes down in the
Oh,
back.
the one with, okay, needed a variance for ZBA, okay, they got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
right,
okay,
exactly.
Okay, got it, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Motion to accept the plan as read.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. Lastly on the list, we just received the revised plans today, is that correct?
Yep.
So we'll have to go through the revised plans. There are 2 variances, oh, 1 variance, just sieve analysis.
There's actually 2.
Is there a second?
There's, the second variance is the offset to the,
Oh, the inlet and outlet tees?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think you're gonna get more and more of the sieve analysis around here now with all this rain we've had.
Pretty tough to
I don't
put.
think anything can really percolate now, can it? Unless you're in good sand.
No.
Town Quivet Road, that's always,
Yeah.
always tough.
Tough place out there.
I have one right here.
Okay, good, 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 good.
You got a couple things to pass out.
And so there was a couple of things that we had to have revised, and did I get most of them? One of them was the contours, the addition of the contours.
Right.
They have well water out there? Or is it town water out
Yes,
there?
well water.
Oh, well water out there, huh? I thought they had town water out
Goes,
there.
yeah, it doesn't go down all the way here.
No, there's town, no, I think it stops at, Holly.
I remember.
Last left.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't carry through. It does well.
So the other one was finished grade in here.
Excuse me. That door.
So it's a 3-acre lot?
Big lot.
Yeah, and so one of the other things that we asked is to rearrange the lot the way it was originally laid out to show a little bit more detail in regards to where the system in the house was located. Where the overview was added.
So there's no wetlands on this lot?
It's one, pretty much an open field.
I'm trying to think when the hell 231 Grand Pleasant Road is. Where's that 231, there's a locus here.
It's just around the bend from Tinkham Pond.
Is that on the right hand side?
Yep. If you're coming from
So it'll be on the left side, coming from Acushnet out towards
the Haven.
Yeah.
the big lot in there. Was there something in there before? A sawmill or something years and years and years ago?
That I know.
I don't know. So we got a long run here, don't we?
170 feet of run. Yeah, that's a tough 100% exactly. Huh? That force main snaps are
That's,
perfect for the drain that.
now, do we have any cleanup done along the way?
Most of it,
Joe,
it's,
would this be in here?
no, it's, most of this is force main in here.
That's the
Filling
force,
is force main,
okay.
so.
So we're going from, because I seen the
That's
next year and the next year with these access walls.
Those are spot shot and finished, the finished grade shots that he has.
Okay,
So these are existing, the smaller ones are existing, and the larger ones are. The face.
basically the same.
Yep.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. If we do a radius, 100 feet
Do the
away.
boxes represent proposed grades?
The boxes,
The boxes along the trunk, the line, is that supposed to represent proposed grades?
Yeah.
So with a force main, why do you need a,
But the force main will be out of the ground then. Essentially, you're coming out of the tank at 94, the grade goes downhill to 91.8, and then it goes back uphill to get to the leaching field. But the pipe coming in, the pipe when it hits the 4-inch is gonna be at 93.25, give or take. And for it to flow back 40 feet downhill, and that puts you about 92.8, it's gonna put you out of the ground. You got a belly in the. You follow what I'm saying? If you look at the force main, essentially you got 1%, 170 feet of pipe, so you got a 1.7 foot change. Okay, it comes out of the tank at 91.5, we'll call it roundabout, and goes into the pipe where it, near the D box at 93.2, call it, okay? So as you work your way back 1%, you come downhill 40 feet, and you're at 92.8 with the invert of the pipe, and the existing grade is 92.4, and you're proposing no change in grade. 20 feet up the hill, the invert's about 93, and the grade's at 91.7, so you literally, the pipe's gonna be that much out of the ground.
it's gonna freeze?
There's a belly, well, it's gonna be sticking out of the ground, yeah.
But it's still gonna freeze. Well, this is a force main, right?
Correct, but it's gotta have a pitch from the D-box back to the tank to drain. You can't do this and then pop it up, because then it'll freeze while you pop it up.
it's gonna be graded. in there.
So they're probably gonna have to put a hump along here.
Right.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to hump it up a little bit.
yeah, like almost like drag the grades down like it's a gravity almost, weird.
But it's not showing me where there would be a hump in this thing here to cover that pipe. It's not showing me on the plan.
Right.
lift that plumbing up at all in the basement to get that?
Is this a brand new system?
It's a,
Well,
Brand
it's a
new home and all?
repair. It's a repair in a different location on the lot.
is there a bathroom in the basement? Is there a living
No.
space down there? But the pipe comes out of the basement?
Right.
Well, the only thing I can see, Dave, where this pipe is in here, if you put the
You
proper
gotta bring
elevation,
You gotta hump
you're gonna have to hump
all the way
over.
back, which
Yeah.
means it's almost like you're doing a gravity because you're taking the grades, building up down the hill, then bring it up to match up the hill.
You're gonna have to hump that 4 feet in each side.
Did they look at lifting, did you look at lifting the plumbing? Because it looks like there's a grade change of 2 feet at the back of that wall. Is that, what kind of
Come on,
retaining wall is
Mr.
that?
Fedett.
The force main, I'm gonna have to look at the force main again. I didn't,
Because is there a 2-foot drop? What is that, a timber wall, or is it a stone masonry wall?
oh, in the back of the house,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like a 2-foot drop there.
It's blocked.
Because you could, if the tank was high, you could grade and get, you're gonna have to mount from here to there anyway.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make, if the plumbing could be lifted, you're not that far off. I mean, if it goes out the cellar floor, then you should be able to lift it. I don't know.
So where is the pipe coming out of the cellar floor?
It's
Have
gonna
you
to
got
come
enough room up top to lift it up?
It's gonna have to come out under the floor,
Under the floor?
because of that
So this would be-
short distance between the house foundation and that drop, it's only like 4 or 5 feet. So we have to come way down underneath to get into the tank. I'll have to look at the force main again, because originally I had it at 4-foot depth with no drain back using insulation, but I did a complete redesign, so.
So he's going underneath the foundation, Dave.
Right, but-
I mean, if that thing could've came up,
right,
you would've
If you looked
eliminated
at the-
that whole big fill job in here.
you're gonna have to fill anyway, that's how, there's no ifs and buts about it. You have to fill from somewhere, that belly's gotta come out, so
Yeah.
you're gonna end up with a ridge.
From the, maybe the 94.4
Yeah,
up, up.
out the finished grade, feathering down to the 93, which is downhill to the field. If you're gonna do that, why not consider doing gravity? If you can replumb it. I
So
look
it
at
says it has to come up from underneath the foundation.
But what's below, what's in the cellar?
It isn't so much the basement, it's the way that the grades are outside the foundation. It just doesn't lend itself to raising the plumbing. I'll have to look at the force main again.
Why don't we look at that and think what we can possibly do with this?
Yeah,
Coming out of the foundation here, it's just gonna be a big burden to have this big berm covering that pipe all the way back to the 94.4,
yeah.
94.3, somewhere's in that category. But you're
Alright.
still gonna have to have some kind of a berm there anyhow, because you gotta keep it below, not to freeze.
Correct. You got at least a foot of cover. Which means you gotta raise the grade up a couple of feet
2
in that
feet.
belly, where that belly is.
Okay,
I actually gotta get going to a wake.
no,
Alright, so we study that.
Okay, we'll put comments together and.
Okay.
I'll
Thank
get-
you, Mr. Fedett.
Get it back.
All right. Thank you.
Can finish the rest of these two. Just to make sure that.
Well, this one, why don't we just, I'll take one review it. See if you have anything rather than.
Yeah.
Hey, good. Sorry about that. So,
what's this one here? I need restriction.
so we should do a motion to table it until the next meeting for revisions.
Yeah, because I mean, the way it's looking at, they're gonna have to bring everything all the way up from
Yeah,
94.3 all the way up, and you're gonna have to go at least 8 feet wide.
yeah, it's gotta be a real berm, you can't just do it like this.
No, you gotta have a sloping berm,
Freeze on both sides.
so you gotta go 4 feet in each side,
Yeah.
because the
You're gonna
pipe
do
is only
that.
that big.
I don't know, I think I'd look into plumbing the
Yeah,
basement.
it makes
I
a
mean,
lot
if
of
you could
sense.
raise that up,
Yeah.
you know, and then drop it down.
I mean, pump
But he
system-
said, but he's telling me just then that it's underneath the foundation. Is it the footing, the foundation has to be the footing.
Footing, it shows coming out
So,
underneath the footing. They
So
reformed it.
probably, what they probably wanna do is have a bathroom down cellar. But if you're gonna do that, Joe, you can put a pump-up system in the cellar to pump up the toilet into the main
Yeah, I
trunk
don't
line and
think,
then run it out.
from what.
I don't know, I haven't seen a,
Yeah,
site.
from the site, it's just, it's retaining walled off, so the
You've
house.
seen the
is-
site?
Oh, yeah, yeah, so the house is raised, there's a little bit of, fill around it, and then it drops a couple of feet, cause there's an actual wall there, so, you know, again, whatever he's doing in conjunction to maybe his clients, is trying not to raise that area in the back. I don't know what the significance of it would be, that lower point
Maybe,
that's
maybe you
there.
should just schedule a meeting with him at the site, and go look at the basement, look at it again.
check it all out, you know,
Yeah.
let him bring his gun with him, give you some elevations with his gun.
Mm.
How long is it gonna take him to check it? Right?
Alright, so.
I don't know, Joe, I don't know what the site is, so I don't know, I don't think, the only thing I can see that this guy's gonna have to bring a lot of fill in to fill in that. He's gonna have to go from the center of that pipe 4 feet out, 4 feet on, it's gonna be a flat mount and then slope down,
Mm.
not to freeze.
Yeah,
Cause that pipe is gonna be out of the ground almost a foot, then he's gonna have at least 2 foot cover, at least.
Yeah, looking at it, just looking at the elevations there and what he did, you know, first you think it's existing, but they're actually coming down.
Yeah,
It goes downhill and then it's back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
He's
actually
having
take the
this in
higher
there.
plumbing and they physically go down on that plan and burrow through underneath the footing. They're changing that grade in order to preserve, I'm assuming, to preserve the backyard the way that it is. So, you know, whether that's, you know, economical or not, obviously is yet to be seen.
Mm.
Because if you gotta fill over the force main, you know, everything you're saying, if you bring that up, there's room to fill there, there's already, because of
Because the
low
walls
spot.
here,
Yeah,
you
got-
you can fill mound right where the
Yep,
tank is, and
definitely.
then start feathering it down, then you get rid of the pump.
Yep.
To me, if you spend $1,000 in plumbing, you save $4,000 or $5,000 in the pump system.
yeah, but plumbing is not $1,000 no more, Dave.
Well, it depends on how easy it is. If it does, if it
Plumbers
does this,
today make big money.
if everything's up high and it all comes shooting straight through the floor,
Yeah,
straight
well,
down,
Yeah, well,
then it's easy just to,
right out.
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what it looks like, and that's why maybe.
Well, he just mentioned that it went underneath the footing, I mean, underneath the
Right.
foundation,
Posing it under the footing.
yeah. So if that was brought up,
That's where,
Proposed, yeah, exactly, I didn't get that, existing is the floor, but this is what appears to be the pipe is up here. The existing pipe, this is proposed in order to preserve, what I'm assuming is preserve the backyard, so that the pipe isn't changing, so that the tank isn't changing the grade of the backyard. But they're physically lowering what's there, because on the other side of the house, where the system exists, which is more towards the front, it's high, the back is low. So again, he's actually designing it to come down under the backyard.
I'm not buying it, because you look at the elevation in the D box, you have 93.2, okay? Add
No,
1.6.
no, I got that, I get it.
So you're
I mean, if those
95,
numbers-
I'm running numbers, 95 out of the tank, 95.25 in the tank, 95.50 going out of the house.
Yep.
Okay, so if the tank is 95.25, so the top's about 96.3, so you need 97, and the top of the wall is 97.9. I mean, I don't know what it looks like behind there, but so
Joe
to
says
me, you're
there's-
taking two
oh,
tanks and put one in the ground, it's a groundwater waiver because we're
Just go
shoving
to
them
that plan?
potentially in the groundwater.
Yes.
This doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, like you said, the only I don't know what's going on in that backyard there. I mean, to the point of if it's really finished,
Oh, cause right now
It's
the
like-
tank goes out, yeah, but the tank goes out the side.
but it's high. The front is high, that whole thing is retained. What is that difference there, a couple of feet?
But the numbers are throwing us off.
Okay.
No, you're right, with it's 98 around the house. And then the wall drops down to 96.
So here's a question, what is the invert coming out of the basement now? The
Exactly.
floor's 95.1.
It's higher than the floor.
Okay, yeah,
That's
exactly.
the only thing that I know.
If
I
it's-
He
mean,
has a proposed and he has a what?
the existing is higher than the,
Okay, now this is coming more into focus.
yeah,
You can put the tank in the same spot,
yeah.
come right off the existing pipe,
you
and
bet.
then keep the fill in this little corner over here,
Mhm.
and run it straight to the leaching field. And then you preserve the, I don't know, this doesn't, I'm not,
Yep.
Go look at it, Dave.
I totally missed that. I thought this pipe came out of the basement. I missed that
Yeah,
the first time around.
I did too. I thought that's
But now I'm
what they were
seeing the
working
tank.
on.
I'd
but
like
when
you
I
to
just
schedule
saw
an
it-
appointment with him and go look at this and
Yeah.
see what makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion.
I don't wanna sign a plan if something's not gonna be
No.
jiving.
Makes sense.
Well,
Then
we
in
got a
the middle of
problem.
the-
There's a
Then in
problem.
the middle of the job, Joe's gonna have headaches and say, well, this ain't gonna work.
Right.
No, this is
We can
good.
make anything work, but
Motion to table a plan to the next meeting for
Second.
revisions and have Joe meet up with the engineer to figure it out. Is it all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next meeting date.
next week.
So I was gonna suggest, if we go, the best that you can do, we have to have it up there, but the best we could do this month would be the 18th of December, coming up, because other than that, we're gonna be into Christmas.
I got a party.
And then the week after that is Christmas. That means that any engineers that are gonna submit plans need to have them in by the end of the week next week. The next thing would be into December,
I got a party.
into January, sorry, which
Joe,
is.
I got a party to go to and planned.
Yeah, so I'm just
So-
giving you the.
It's my company
What day
party,
is Christmas then?
25th.
Oh, I see what your point is. And
Yeah,
what day is
so-
it on? What's the 25th?
So the following,
Oh, so it'd be, okay, so,
That's 2019.
yeah. So this is, thank you. So that's the 18th,
yeah,
then the following is the 25th,
and then.
and then the
that's
following
New
is,
Year's Day,
is
so
the 1st.
Let's go to January 8th. Choice, the holidays.
I have a party also.
January 8th, yeah.
Alright, so
So
the next meeting is gonna be January 8th.
No, not the other one.
There's plenty of room for deadlines.
Yeah, and I even go to the 16th, you know, only because it kinda gets us closer to the middle of the month where we
Well,
usually
we'll
go.
tentatively go to the 8th, so nobody can complain that, I mean, we had 2 holidays in a row, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
And then the 18th is just too soon, doesn't really work.
Right, and I'm sure there's not gonna be a whole lot of business over the course of the next month, you know.
Usually it's quiet through Christmas, so
Never
we'll,
know.
we'll start at the 8th, and if it seems too light, then we'll push it, and there's no hurry or whatever.
Yep,
Okay,
yep, gotcha,
that's what we'll do.
gotcha.
Alright, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye, motion carries.